All right, boys, how you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. I did take a break from YouTube for a little bit just so I can get back into my daily routine. Started to fall behind a little bit, but we're back. Posting new content every single day. Got a bunch of stuff coming out for you guys. Really good content, really good information. Basically, just free sauce for the YouTube. But anyway, we're back. Today I wanted to talk about basically the forever model that I used almost every single day, or the model that I try to look for almost every single day. Basically, it is a very simple concept that I feel like everyone should have within their trading strategy. Obviously, everyone has a completely different trading strategy, but this is just the setup that I look for almost every single day. And obviously, with the price action lately, we haven't been seeing it almost every single day, but this is the most perfect A+ setup that I have for myself. Excuse me, this is just what made me profitable and what I've helped other people become profitable with. So without that, let's get into it. So as we can see, the week started off with a new week opening gap. So like if we go on a higher time frame, we can see that we created a new week opening gap, which is great. Okay, what is that telling me is that eventually, maybe not Monday, maybe not Tuesday, maybe not Wednesday, but eventually throughout the week, we will retrace back into these, into this new week opening gap. And that basically is just a very strong point of liquidity because there's so many orders left behind from the market makers, which they didn't fill. They didn't have enough time to fill those orders because it was just such a big move up. So they left a bunch of orders behind. So what they try to do is they try to bring price down eventually back into that gap so they can fill their orders and continue higher and within a bullish movement right there. Okay. Now, what that means for me is that once we retrace back into this, I'm 100% looking for longs. Pretty much ever since I started trading, anytime I've seen a new week opening gap and we've seen a good retracement where we've, retested it maybe one or two, three times, we've always had a very strong rejection. Okay. So this to me is like a perfect model. I'm going to be taking this every single day. Okay. Now, obviously, you can't just be taking it just regardless from a new week opening gap. You always have to have some extra type of confluences. Now, in this case, we have a liquidity sweep with London lows and then previous day lows right here. So we could see we have, I'm going to mark this out for you guys. We got this previous day low, and then I'm just going to get rid of this just so we can have a little bit of a clearer chart. And then go back to here. Okay, so what do I see right now is that once market opens, we come down, sweep London lows and previous day lows. What that tells me is that we're going to have a very strong indication that we're going to have a reversal. Okay, sure enough, we chop around for a little bit on the 1 minute time frame, and you can see that we do end up making a inverse fair value gap right here. So if you look at like the 2 minute time frame, the 2 minute time frame. Actually, I'm sorry, the 1 minute. But regardless, this is an imbalance right here. So I'm looking for a retracement back into this imbalance, and I'm looking for longs right out of there. Okay. So now this doesn't have to be, obviously this is not as clear, but if you look at right here, we have a very clear indication of a bullish fair value gap, which we end up retracing into and continuing higher. Okay. So obviously combining liquidity sweeps with new week opening gaps and fair value gaps, that is the best model you could be looking for without a doubt. Okay, so now that's the reason why I took this trade today. I ended up taking this trade. If you take a look, this retracement right here, back on this candle, I had my stops below these lows right here, and I had my take profit set at this very high, basically the open of this fair value gap right here. Perfect setup. Made a good amount of money with it. I'm not really here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about this model. Okay, as we can see, we ended up coming up even higher, taking out London session highs, which was my original draw on liquidity. I wanted to take out those London session highs, but I would much rather secure my profits and be safe with that, because obviously if you have green, don't let it turn red. Okay, there was always a chance that even if I didn't take profits and I just continued holding, that maybe this 1 minute could have respected and continued to dump. I mean, obviously, if we take a look at yesterday, if this wants to load, what's going on here? Okay, I don't know why it's not loading, but regardless, yesterday we had a very bearish day. We dumped for the entire day. I think we dumped almost 500 points, which is pretty insane. What is taking this shit so long? Excuse me, guys. All right, let's go back on NQ. All All right, we can see that yesterday we had an absolute dump to the downside, retracing back into this new week opening gap. We could see right off a market open, bang, straight into the downside, dumping all the way down to this new week opening gap, bouncing back out of it, creating a bunch of resting liquidity for us to sweep when we open at New York session, which is exactly what we did. New York open, we swept London lows, retraced even lower, sweeping previous day lows, and then bowling to the upside. Now, I will say, I want to say if you see this exact setup, combining it, you don't even have to combine it with a new week opening gap. If you just combine it with a fair value gap and some sort of high resistance liquidity being swept, you could take this any single day. And I honestly have seen a, I believe it was a 82% win rate from this exact setup. Last year, when I first was introduced to this setup, you would see this setup every single day. The exact model. You would see London session lows being swept, previous day lows being swept, a fair value gap, and then just boom, straight to the upside. You target the higher resting liquidity from London session highs. That's it. It's such a simple model, and it works. Obviously, there will be times where it doesn't work. However, when I was doing this last year, when I figured out this setup, I was getting at least an 82% win rate. So if that doesn't prove to you that this works, then I don't know what will. I have a Discord where I called out this trade, and pretty much every single person in there that took the trade won this trade because of the fact how simple this setup is. And I have guys in there who are fairly new into trading. They've been trading for less than 3 or 4 months, and they've took the setup because I explained it to them, and it's so simple. It's a simple I can't even explain how simple it is. It's one of the most simplest setups you can ever see when it comes to trading. If you want to join my Discord, I give free callouts. I do one-on-one mentorship, all completely for free. Do live calls, all that kind of stuff, all for free. Just free sauce. If you want to join that, the link's in the description of the video. That's all I really have for you guys today, but just a simple setup that you could pretty much see almost, I don't want to say every single day, but you see it very, very often. And then you could combine it with other confluences. Like now, for example, if you wanted to take it with standard deviation, this is a perfect example of a standard deviation trade. Boom, you could have taken up to these highs, even up to this high right here if you really wanted to. So it works. Obviously having more confluences with something like this is obviously better. If you combine it with like an SMT, breaker block, whatever it is, the more the better. But that's all I really have for you guys today. I hope you guys find setups like this in the future, or go back and back test this, whatever it is. Join the Discord. It's in the link to the description of this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.